What's up everyone, this is Marky2200 here and welcome back to my Need for Speed testing series, where today we'll be ranking all the rear wheel drive sports cars from worst to best based on their wheelie capabilities. As always, all the cars are using stage 3 performance and handling packages, we're using manual gearbox with clutch, and all the cars have been tuned properly. Tunes of every car are in the description down below. Like the previous wheelie videos, we're actually ranking these cars into tiers rather than ranking them from worst to best based on their amount of meters they've pulled a wheelie. And we'll only have 3 tiers to worry about, that being B tier, A tier and S tier. We only have 2 cars in B tier, and at the bottom of B tier we have the Acura NSX. The B tier is for the cars that manage to pull a wheelie anywhere between 300 and 405 meters. That is obviously with NOS, and of the 2 cars the NSX is the worst, and at the top of B tier, well, top, it's 363 meters. We have the Mazda RX-8, which is a tricky car to get right. It's only good for B tier, NOS at 4th gear, yeah, that is what it is. Moving into A tier, these are the cars that managed to pull a wheelie the entire drag strip, but they did have to use NOS to do so. At A- tier, it barely managed to do a wheelie the entire drag strip with NOS. We have the Z4, which is somewhat of a solid car overall, but it managed to barely get into A tier. Then at regular A tier, I mean, this is just regularly, it's a good car, but you did have to use NOS to do a wheelie the entire drag strip. We have the rest of the BMWs, the E46 and then the E92. I mean, they are both good wheelie cars, but they're not amazing. Would I use these for wheelies? Yeah, sure, but I mean, there are better drag cars, or better wheelie cars, I should say. Then we have the Cayman. And the Cayman, there isn't really much to say about many of these wheelie cars actually, except for that the Cayman needs a different suspension tune and a different... No, it doesn't need a different suspension tune, it needs a different drivetrain tune. Basically same like the drag tune. Then we also have the Solstice, which is just a solid overall good A tier car. There's not much to say about these, yeah. Also, one thing you might have noticed is that apart from the B tier cars, I haven't put the amount of meters they pulled a wheelie. That's because it's either 410 or 411 meters, so it was kind of useless. Sylvia at A+ tier, meaning that it it was very close for reaching S tier, but it just didn't. Then we have the S- tier, and these are the tier where the cars just barely pulled a wheelie the entire drag strip without the use of NOS. There are 2 cars in S- tier, the first one being the SL65. It wants to go down straight at the finish line, just do not shift into 4th. And then, surprise surprise, we have the Supra. It is absolutely crucial that you do not shift into 5th. The car is very stubborn and only works as an S tier car with a very specific drivetrain setup. Hence why I put it into S- tier. And then the rest of the cars, so the top 9, managed to pull a clean S tier, which is genuinely astonishing. So I wouldn't say that one car in the S tier is better than the other. I mean, you can use any of these cars and they will perform amazingly. They will perform just as it should. However, with the S2000 as well as the DB9, they are for some reason very slow, but they still managed to pull a wheelie of 411 meters, or basically the entire drag strip, without the use of NOS, which is very respectable. Same with the Elise. It's not a car that I would imagine that it would got S tier, but it still did it. It still did it very respectably, basically. Another car, we have the i350. I mean, to be honest, yeah, we're getting a lot of S tier cars, and like I said, I genuinely did not expect for 11 cars being in S tier and 9 cars of them being a easy solid S tier. Next we have the 350Z, another very solid S tier car. I mean, like I said, there isn't much to say apart that all of these S tier cars just were amazing at wheeling, and there isn't one better than the other. There are, I would say, cars that surprise me more than others, like the Elise surprised me a bit, the IS350 surprised me a bit. The DB9 once again is just like the S2000, very slow, but it did pull a wheelie the entire way through, which was somewhat expected, but I mean, the way it did it, not so much. Then we have the RX-7, which is basically the exact same story as most other S-tier cars. They are amazing at wheeling, they don't need NOS, just use them how you normally would and you'll be fine. It's another great S-tier car. Then very surprisingly we have the Corolla. I would say the top two, I wouldn't say top two, but the last two are very surprising. First, like I said, we have the Corolla. I mean, to think that the Supra is an S- tier and the Corolla is an S tier. I mean, look at how easy it can pull a wheelie. It's just mind-blowing how easy it can pull a wheelie. I did not expect this. And same like the last but not least, the 240SX. How did this car get into S tier? I'm not complaining though. But Pro Street's logic and performance can be weird sometimes. This car should not be S tier, but I am very glad that it is. So those were all the rear-wheel drive sports cars in the UFC Pro Street, from worst to best in or ranked in tiers based on wheeling. Yeah, the commentary was a bit random, but that's just because for wheeling I do not have much to say, because there are so many cars that were exceptionally great for the same reason that they are just, I would say, powerful. Like the Corolla is not powerful at all, yet it still managed to pull an S-tier wheelie, which is something that I did not expect, and I don't think many of you have either. But it is what it is. I'm not complaining, but yeah, it can be weird sometimes. So if you've liked this video, consider giving it a thumbs up. If you wish to stay updated on all my future videos, consider subscribing. The next testing video will be all the rear-wheel drive sports cars in Pro Street from worst to best based on their speed capabilities. For now, this has been Marky 2200. Thank you so much for watching and hope to see you very soon. Take care.